It's game day as the Chicago Bulls take on the Dallas Mavericks in Dallas today. Can the Chicago Bulls stop their losing streak and win a game against one of the better teams in the NBA? We're going to talk about it all and more, and you have some fun as only we can do right after this.
You are now tuned in to Chicago Bulls Central, your number one place for all Chicago Bulls news and content.
What's going on, Bulls fans? Welcome to another episode of Chicago Bulls Central, your number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related. I'm the host there, Haize, but more importantly, you guys can follow the channel at Bulls Central Pod on every social media platform we happen to be on. With that being said, let's go ahead and get into the shits for today. So the Bulls are taking on the Dallas Mavericks in about an hour. Yeah, we'll see how the Bulls do today, man. After going over as many analytics and stuff that I have over the last 24 hours with the Chicago Bulls, both here on Chicago Bulls Central and over on Locked On Bulls. I'll tell you what, it's kind of affected my enjoyment of the Chicago Bulls because when you look at the advanced stats and what it tells us, this is really a confusing team. This is really, really a confusing team when it comes down to it, man. And really, they're going to be able to win just about any game. It really just comes down to how good they're shooting from three. Really is really what it comes down to. And so, in a game where Zach LaVine's not playing, in a game where we'll see how the rotation ends up balancing out and things like that. Like this Bulls team is just a really unique and interesting team to watch because it really defies logic sometimes how this team is built. It really does in a lot of ways, and it's something that's just a little weird about it, man. But yeah, we'll see how it comes along. Also, I don't know if you guys saw it or not, but apparently it got released that the Pacers are interested in trading for Nikola Vucevic. So I have a video out on that at some point. But um, yeah, we'll see what happens with it. But it did get out. Zach LaVine is ruled out today, so he will not be playing. So that is what it is when it comes down to it. But we'll see what the Bulls can do, man. This is going to be a very interesting game against the Dallas Mavericks because the Mavericks are a team that, listen, you got Kyrie averaging 24 points. You got Luka averaging 29 points. Klay Thompson is playing pretty damn good for this team as well. Like the mix of getting easy buckets at the rim and three-point shooting that this Dallas Mavericks team is going to have is going to be bananas. And so to watch how the Bulls balance that out is going to be really fun and interesting to see. It's going to be really interesting to see when it comes down to it. Yeah, we'll see what it comes down to it, man. But yeah. And Zach LaVine has actually offensively been one of the more consistent players in the NBA so far this year. When you look at the players right now, as far as most efficient players, it's Anthony Davis, Buddy Hield, Zach LaVine, Nikola Vucevic. Like that's crazy. We got two players in the top 10 of most efficient players in the NBA. Just look at it when it comes down to it, man. But I went over the analytics and stuff. Only a couple days until Vegemite is in the Haize household. That's hilarious. But also, what's funny about that is hell. With the way that these Bulls are playing, there's no guarantee I'm gonna have to eat it. So we'll see. We'll see. Gonna be late one night love from Ireland. I mean, yeah. Listen, it's not as late as like some of the 9:30 and 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time start times when they're on the West Coast, but this it's actually pretty early for a Western Conference team game. The up and down nature of the modern NBA offense we're only now experiencing. That's a fact. That's a fact. Kind of affecting my enjoyment of the Chicago Bulls. Come on, brother. You can't be a Bulls fan and expect to have fun. Roller coaster continues. That's hilarious. That's funny. Haize continues to be the world's freshest Bulls fan. Absolutely. Y'all know Derek from now he's not from Nothing But Bull. What's the podcast that they took over? Um what's the name of that podcast? It's part of that network. I don't even remember now at this point. But on tap, Bulls on tap. He thinks he's the freshest, but it's like, come on, bro. Like let's be clear, man. Let's be clear. You're not fucking with Haize. Maybe for normal people, but you're not fucking with Haize. The Pacers want Vooch. That's some Twilight Zone shit. Why would they want him when they have Miles Turner? I'm just going off with the rumor that was released. I haven't done my deep dive in it to kind of look and see the validity of the rumor. I'll do, yeah, before I cover it, you guys know I'll do a deep dive on it to make sure that it's not just some blog writer yapping. But it's interesting. I mean, listen, with the efficient as Vooch is playing, I would not be surprised. And keep in mind, the Pacers are one of those teams that they've shot Miles Turner at every trade deadline and just been like, oh, we didn't hear nothing that we like. So I don't even know if it's like that they're like enamored when it comes down to it. But we'll see. Daly may get more minutes tonight for his defense. He should. He should be getting more minutes for his defense. Just don't have him guarding John Collins that outweighs him by 40 points. That's crazy. Damn, Haize wears 2 dope ass shirts in the same day. I mean, if I had the shirt on the daily, see, this is how I know some of y'all don't watch the daily episodes. When I dropped the episode at 7:00 this morning, this was the shirt I had on. You either eat it when Giddy gets his trip dub, or when I come over, you can never get away from it, my friend. That's hilarious. That's crazy. America was seeing red last night. Yeah, well, Haize be fresher than a new pair of Air Force Ones. Come on. I mean, that's light work. That's light work. Damn, Haize wears 2. You already said that. Oh, wait. You didn't read the rest of it. 2 dope shirts on a Wednesday that are both nicer than anything I have on my best. I doubt that, man. Don't undercut yourself. What up, Haize? What's going on, Luis? Drip with the spark. Yeah, listen. The Dennis Rodman. Come on, man. You gotta pay some homage to Dennis Rodman, bro. That's all I'm saying. One of my favorite Bulls. One of my favorite Bulls of all time. So Rodman's always gonna get some love, man. It'd be a good time to trade Vooch. Listen, Vooch keeps it up, like definitely, and we'll see what the Bulls do. Are they actually going to strike while our players' value is at its highest? Are we actually going to see the Bulls actually move somebody before their trade value goes into the toilet? Is that a potential thing that we could see here? We'll see what it turns into. Yeah, we want math, and that's crazy. First of all, that'll never happen. Never happen. I watched the daily vid, not realizing there were people who actually want to keep Vooch here. That's crazy to me. I mean, listen, there are people, and I was funny. It was crazy to me to see the responses where people were like, "Why would we trade Vooch? And we just signed him a year ago." It's like y'all were just complaining that we even signed Vooch. Like Chicago sports fans are so fickle. It's so fickle. It's such a fickle community, bro. Haize calling out Chicago Bulls Central casual. Well, absolutely. Some of y'all only show me love on the live streams. Now I get it. The live streams are a completely different vibe. But if you want that education, you got to show up to the daily episodes. You got to show up to the dailies. 91 was raw. But let's get back to talking about this game a little bit, right? So the one thing we know Luka Clay and Kyrie Clay, right? We know that those three. But watch out for Daniel Gafford to have a big game today. Like, if I'm not mistaken, Daniel Gafford always has big games against Nikola Vucevic. But I'm going to do what Shea doesn't do. And I'm going to actually research that before I go on wax and say that. Let's see what Daniel Gafford usually averages against Nikola Vucevic. See, I would have been okay. The last few games have been good. But for his career, Gafford only averages 9.3 points and 5.4 rebounds. But why that's in my head is the last 2 games he's gotten double doubles against Nikola Vucevic. So it's just recency bias. Recency bias. There you go on that one. Are you NBA No, not Centel. No, I'm NBA Central. Like, we spell things right around here. NBA Centel, that's corn dog shit. We don't do that around here. I don't do that cornball shit. No, we Chicago sports team. We buy high and sell for the low, though. Exactly. That's crazy. Do you consider Rodman a trendsetter or just a unique character in his own style? Both. 2 things could be true. He's both of them. Bulls fans seeing Nikola Vucevic rumors, Vooch and a second round pick for bro. That's crazy. That's exactly what they would say. What do you mean he's averaging 20 and 11? We should be able to get Giannis Antetokounmpo for Nikola Vucevic and Patrick Williams. Listen, whiny Bulls fans, I love them. I love them because they be so passionate but stupid. They be so passionate but dumb. Like real talk. So passionate but be saying some stupid shit. Oh my! I remember when Rudy Gobert was on the trademark. Like, oh my God, we can get Rudy Gobert for cheap. Clearly, the Utah Jazz will take the carcass of Cristiano Felicio and 2 first-round picks, and then he ended up going for like 5 first-round picks. I'm like, you're not gonna sell low on a player that's still technically in their prime and on a fucking $40 million contract. What are we talking about? What are we talking about? What's good, MJ? Glad to have you in the building. If Kobe isn't scoring well, we might be cooked. I mean, yeah. I mean, when you got one of your most efficient scorers, if they don't score well, absolutely. This game can get ugly if we get off to. I mean, every game can get ugly for the Bulls if they get off to a slow start. That's why it's really important that the Bulls cut this slow start shit out, bro. They got to stop the slow. And by slow start, I don't necessarily mean that the other team isn't going to score like you got to score with them motherfuckers. If you're not going to stop them defensively, you got to score with them motherfuckers. You got to get it together. Wasn't the last game one of the ones where he set a record for the field goal? Yes, that was one of the ones he set that record for. Did the Bulls give up too early on Gafford, or was it the fact that he wouldn't fit in the team style at the time? No, it was because the Bulls knew they weren't going to re-sign him to that. The contract that Gafford's on was ridiculous, and even with the rise of contracts is those things. But I also think that they weren't enamored with Daniel Gafford. Daniel Gafford is still a very limited player, but if you can play to his strengths, he's great. And I don't think that the Bulls really thought that they were going to be in a situation. They thought they needed more from the center position than what Daniel Gafford brought. Now, for this team now, Daniel Gafford would be perfect for this team. He'd be perfect for this team. Haize, are there any injuries for this game? Yeah. Zach LaVine is out. Lonzo Ball's out. I think everybody else is in the clear and good to go. So we'll see what happens along with that. LaVine is improving, which is tomorrow in Minnesota. Zach LaVine is out. Yeah, I don't see anything else. Can't wait for 60 minutes of Luka bitching to the rest for calls. I know games are 48 minutes against cornball players like him, Harden and Embiid. They alone add a whole ass quarter worth of times. That's hilarious, but accurate. I've identified the Bulls fan voice that sound that it's Bulls Daily. But you guys, the Bulls are trading. Listen, guys, you guys got to really listen here. You'll be really surprised by this. The Chicago Bulls. I've just got this down. I just literally read this somewhere. Where did I read it from? Oh, I read it from bulls.fart.com. The Bulls are trading for. That's who it is. It's inside the Chicago Bulls. That's who that Bulls voice is. So there you go. I'd love Luka as a player if he wasn't such a crybaby. Damn. What did he do? Was everything okay at home? Hey, Haize, if they move Vooch, do they aim for offense or defense in that trade? I don't think they aim for anything. They're aiming for picks and assets at that point in time. Now, if you can get a young player, but the Pacers aren't in any place to really give up a young player because they're trying to go on an actual run. So at the most, you're probably getting a salary dump and maybe some future picks. Let's look up. Listen, y'all get into the content. I said I'm going to drop the video later. Y'all motherfuckers don't be patient. Y'all don't be patient. I literally be like, hey, I'm dropping a whole video on this. But Haize, what about Haize? If they do this, nigga, I just said, no, I'm just messing with y'all. I'm just playing. I'm really just playing. Let's just see real quick. So Vooch's contract is a little over $20 million, right? So right there, if you're looking at the easiest thing to match is probably, let me go to the multi-year. I just want to see what the length of some of these contracts are. So Miles Turner is an unrestricted free agent at the end of the season. So you know what? Honestly, if the Indiana Pacers are trying to do a trade for Nikola Vucevic and it's built around Miles Turner and a heavily protected, maybe top 15 protected first round pick, Miles Turner would bring a lot of what exactly this team needs at the center position. And then he's already played with Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith may be like, man, I was just backing you up, but I wouldn't be mad at it. Love to see you paying homage to the NBA legend Dennis Rodman, Hall of Famer 3 times. Look, hold on. Are you really just reading it off the shirt? It says it right there. Hold on, this side. Right there, 3 times champion. Come on now. This is what we do. This is the whole point of the shirt. It's all there. You just got to read it. It's all there. No, that's why I corrected myself. Wasn't Bulls Daily's my little brother. It wasn't Bulls Daily. I said that I misspoke. It's Inside the Chicago Bulls is who it was about. I used to F with Inside the Chicago Bulls channel till you ended his career. Hope, hope, bro. Good. Hey, I mean, you know the thing. All jokes aside, right? And there's space for everybody in this creative space or whatever we call it. There's room for everybody in it, right? But the thing that really irked me about Inside the Chicago Bulls is that he was one of the first Chicago Bulls channels, and at some point you could tell he didn't even watch the Chicago Bulls. Like there was a game literally where he was breaking down the game and he was like, I don't know why Alize Johnson wasn't in this game. Alize Johnson had been off the team for 2 weeks. And it was like, all right, fam. All right. And then when you started realizing that he only talked about rumors, he never talked about he never broke down hey, Kobe White in this game, he was getting to the mid range or whatever. It was always like, yeah, Kobe White had 26 points. It was an amazing game. And it was like, he shot 8 for 26. What are we doing? What are we doing? Vooch for Miles Turner and pick sounds perfect to me. Let's run it up. Hey, listen, I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. Off topic, but did you see Trae Young? I did. That's crazy. And that's not a fresh cut. That Trae did that. He still didn't go to the barber. You can tell he used his nut clippers and just said zip. Now, granted, he should have cut that mop off his head a fucking long time ago. But it's like, come on, bro. You went the nut clipper route, bro. Come on, man. Come on, bro. What are we doing here? If the Pacers agree to trade, their only defense might have to call AK Danny Ainge. Nah, I wouldn't say that because listen, the Pacers have already shown they don't give a shit about defense. Everything the Pacers do is built around offense, offense, offense. That's what their whole system is about. Is offense, offense, offense. We're gonna outscore you. And to their credit, last season, they did it more times than not on route to the Eastern Conference Finals, right? Now I won't say that he's their only defense now that they have Pascal there, right? And he's there to start the season off. But I mean, let's be clear here. The Pacers are still allowing 121 points per game. They're still one of the bottom 3 teams in the league defensively. At that point, you might as well double down. And I tell you what, Vooch is actually having a really good defensive season. I went over it on Locked On Bulls. So if you guys want to kind of in depth on how Vooch is really playing amazingly well defensively, it's not just, listen, I know people are going to be like, but Haize, it's Vooch. The analytics, Vooch is having his best defensive season of his career right now. And it's really crazy the numbers defensively that he's putting up. It's really crazy when it comes down to it. Turner will be unrestricted. He's been in the league too long to be restricted. Keep in mind, you're only a restricted free agent after your rookie deal, Rob. Miles Turner has been in the league, what, a decade at this point? He's an unrestricted free agent, my brother. Unrestricted. How long has Miles Turner been in the league? Hold on, he came in the league in 2015. Yeah, this is 10th season in the NBA. That's crazy. Off the top of my head, I'm not even a Pacers fan. That's crazy. Hey, his question about the channel: as you continue to grow, do you plan on doing interviews with people that have ties to the Chicago Bulls? Well, I mean, yeah, I've already had Stacey King on. I've had Darnell Mayberry on. As far as players, I mean, yeah, that's the hope, right? I have a beeline to Will Purdue. I may try to get Will Purdue on, but we'll see. We'll see. The guy talking about Bulls that I'm convinced doesn't watch Bulls games is Bulls Report by. Listen, I don't support any of the chat sports. And listen, hats off to Harrison, what he grew with Bears now. But when I found out he's not even a Bears fan, he's actually a Vikings fan. He just get paid to cover the Bears. That whole chat now thing just fell off to me. It just fell off to me. Every GM needs to pay attention to past teams. Having a top 5 offense and bottom 5 defense has not worked yet and probably won't. I don't think that's right. I think there was a team that had a bottom 5 defense that actually won a finals in the last 15 years. But I mean, generally, you're right. It doesn't work. Generally, your offense has to be so damn good, right? Wayne Hold said, "Game days with Haize." Appreciate you, brother. Glad to have you in the building. Miles Turner been in the NBA for a little. Yeah, he's been in the NBA for this is 10th season. That's crazy. Gotcha. Yeah, yeah. And it's so yeah. So typically, Rob, you'll only find a player that's a restricted free agent that about their third or fourth year in the league usually. Sometimes it can go as into their fifth year in the league, but generally that's about the time you find them being restricted. So anything over that, they're usually unrestricted free agents. He's been engaged. Yeah, I mean, listen, I could bring it up and go over it. Hold on, give me 1 second. So Nikola Vucevic, this is just to go over this. When Vuce is on the court, let me make sure. Hold on. I had to clear my filters because I was looking at like specific advanced analytics earlier today. So when Vooch is on the floor this season, teams are scoring 0.5 points per worse per 100 possessions. They're shooting almost a 2% worse effective field goal shooting percentage. They're turning the ball over 2.5% more. They're rebounding the ball at 3.6% less. That like everything that Vooch, and those are some of his best career numbers. It's crazy, honestly. It's really crazy that Vooch is having that good. And really, even though Vooch is being efficient offensively, the Bulls actually score 6.7 points worse per 100 possessions when he's on the court. That's like analytics is so weird in that sense. So weird in that sense. Miles Turner going to build his home in Chicago out of Legos when he gets traded to the Bulls. That's hilarious. That's funny. Do you think Orlando would be? No, Orlando's all in on their youth right now. They just re-upped Wendell Carter. I don't see Orlando being back in on Nikola Vucevic personally. Now, here's the thing. You never know how things can shift and ebb and flow. I just personally don't see it. Is Dallas playing full team? No. So PJ Washington is out. Derek Lively's a game time decision. I don't know if they've announced it yet. Hold on. Let's see. Let's see. Have you heard anything on Derek Lively? Doesn't look like they've officially said something. But yeah, Derek Lively's questionable, and PJ Washington's already out of this game. Let's see. Yeah, it doesn't look. Oh, they do. So Derek Lively, PJ Washington, Dante Exum, Maxi Kleber all out tonight. So they're missing some of their center depth there. People are surprised when they say guys like Turner and Drummond have been in the league for 10 years, partially because they remember when they got drafted. Well, not even that. I mean, they just got drafted that young. Like Andre Drummond, I don't even think he's 30 yet. Miles Turner is 28. Like, that's crazy to say that you've been in the league. Like, Miles Turner is 28 years old. So technically, if the Bulls were to trade Vooch for him, they get younger, right? And he's an expiring contract at the end of the year. So it would be crazy to see. Someone comparing Ben Simmons to Bill Russell at center the other day was that man. That was crazy, bro. That was crazy. That was crazy. The league doesn't talk about Evan Mobley enough. He's been on a tear. Wish we had a player like Evan. Listen, Evan Mobley. Evan Mobley is making that leap that people. I'll hold myself accountable. I thought that they would have to trade Jaron Allen to get this version of Evan Mobley, and he's playing great right now. Great right now. Haize, when people learn Modest isn't ready for the starting lineup and the Bulls are right to be patient. I don't know, bro, because like Bulls, like this is the thing that goes back to sports fans, right? Some sports fans live in the now and they don't understand, and rightfully so. When your franchise has been losing for so long, it's hard to live in the future. Like it's hard not to just live in the now. But the Bulls are living in the now, right? I mean, they shouldn't be living in the now. Fans are living in the now. The Bulls fans shouldn't be living in the now. Good day, Haize. So sorry for your election. But listen, we're not going to talk politics here. But for real, Giddy has radically improved our play style. Fun to watch. Yeah, but Giddy still got things he definitely needs to improve on. Like, and this is not to shit on Josh Giddy. This is just honest critique and evaluation. So this isn't like to tear down Josh Giddy. While the stats have been really good, Giddy has to be better on some things. I personally think Giddy has to be more aggressive in the half court. We see a lot of times where he crosses half court, and I know it's the scheme. I'm not saying this is like Josh Giddy being passive, and he gives the ball to Zach LaVine. Josh Giddey should be running every offensive set, either him or Kobe White. And that's why Zach LaVine's turnovers are still so high. There should be no reason why Zach LaVine should be initiating a bit of offense for you. There just should be no reason for it, right? And so Billy Donovan, I get it that Zach is the vet and Zach's the big time scorer, but Billy Donovan got to put his foot down. You should be having, I think if Josh Giddey was facilitating on most of the plays, yeah, like we already be talking about Josh Giddey having a couple triple doubles, or at least averaging probably instead of what he's averaging 6 assists, he'd probably be averaging closer to 9.5. Josh Giddey should absolutely be initiating more offense, at least in my opinion. We've seen way too much of him not doing that. Bro, I'm a Lions fan and a Bears fan, so I know pain. If I was podcasting, I could do either and not miss the beat. Well, shout out to you. You should do that, bro. I don't mean that sounded very sarcastic. That's not how I meant it. I mean legitimately. Like there was a podcast for a while there. This was years ago. This was over a decade ago. That I used to listen to when I worked at the hospital overnight. And it was he was a Knicks and a Bulls fan. And he did a Knicks and Bulls podcast. And honestly, especially at that point in time where like podcasting was still kind of in its infancy, it was like it was fun to listen to. And like at that point, I wasn't a Knicks fan at all, but like I had so much knowledge of the Knicks because I was listening. He was just so entertaining and he knew the Bulls, but he did a mixed podcast like that of two completely different fan bases. So there's an avenue for that. Now it'll be a little bit more difficult to do on YouTube. YouTube is so algorithmic that, like, for example, the this is how fickle YouTube's algorithm is. The moment the reason why originally Chicago Sky, there was going to be no Chicago Sky Central. I was going to do Chicago Sky content here on the Bulls channel because the WNBA goes on when the NBA isn't. Literally, I posted one Sky video on this channel and YouTube did not know what to do with it, and my channel did not recover in the algorithm for a month and a half. That's how bad and fickle YouTube is. That's how bad YouTube is with the algorithm. They need to get TikTok's algorithm down. But like literally, when you once YouTube puts you in your bubble, the moment you post anything that's outside that bubble, it will fuck up the whole momentum of your channel. The whole entire momentum of your channel for a while. So that's why it's like once you get in the algorithm, YouTube basically makes it to where if you were to ever try to post that's why when people are like, hey, you should do a vlog on your equipment. You should do this. You should do that. I'm like, well, shit, I would love to. But if the moment I post it and if Chicago Bulls is not somewhere in that title or in that description or in the content, YouTube's going to be like, what the fuck is this motherfucker doing? Oh, shut it all down. Until we figure out what this motherfucker doing, we got to shut it all down. That's literally what YouTube would do. And it really sucks. That's why you see like Pat the Designer over on the Windy City Breeze. Like he used to be solely in the Bulls algorithm. Now you see he basically only does Bears content. And it's not because he doesn't still love the Bulls, right? I think he does some live streams for the Bulls. But if he got back to trying to do Bulls, he has to lead almost every video with a Bears topic, because if he leads it with the Bulls topic, the algorithm's going to be like, dude, what the fuck are you doing? That's just how much it sucks. The YouTube algorithm is a slave owner, and everybody who posts YouTube consistently is the slaves. And that's just what it is, bro. Like it's just the way that the algorithm works, man. It will kick your ass. And then you be stuck looking stupid. Stupid. It really sucks, man. I hope tonight's game would be competitive. I have a feeling it would be a blowout game. I mean, let's hope not. Let's hope not. Let's hope not. TikTok algorithm is nuts. I'll be thinking about that. I can't read that. If you can't tell, I'm trying to clean up the channel. That's crazy, but accurate. Like TikTok algorithm is so crazy, bro. Because like I wanted to make broccoli cheddar soup, right? And like I already have a recipe for broccoli cheddar soup, but I think I had like pulled it up on my phone. The whole rest of like I got roasted chicken broccoli cheddar soup, corn and broccoli cheddar soup, all on TikTok. I'm like, I don't even look at food videos on TikTok. Which lineup do you think would be able to slow down Kyrie? Listen, prayer, the God and the Holy Ghost. Yeah, that's who would do it. That's who do it. The Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost. That's the best. That's the best lineup that you can get to try to slow down Luka for this Chicago Bulls team, because it's about to be rough, my boy. It's about to be rough. I just got here and I agree the YouTube algorithm is crazy, but that's why I do it, because I enjoy it and not for the numbers. Makes it easier to keep. Oh yeah, and that's why I always say you get into this because you're doing what you love to do. If you want to start being a creative, you want to start a YouTube channel, you want to start a podcast, anybody who asks me advice, the first thing I always tell them, do what you can talk about every single day and never worry about anything else. Because at that point, everything else is just on top of it. Everything else is just butter. So that's what you need. But all right, y'all, we're gonna go ahead and get ready to wrap it up. I'm gonna check to see if the lineups are out. But otherwise, I will be back at halftime. We done talked about a little bit of everything. I love you guys so much for everything that you do. It means the channel lineups aren't out yet. Make sure you guys are following us at Bull Central Pod. You can send us any feedback, questions, comments, concerns. bullcentralpod@gmail.com. Lastly, if you want to leave a text message and our voicemail for the mailbag, the number to do so, 773-270-2799. We're the number one spot for everything Chicago Bulls related, but that's thanks to you guys. And like I like to end every episode on, go Bulls. Love you guys. See red. Let's get this win. It's game day. I'll see you guys at halftime. Peace, y'all.
Presentation of the Break Media.